Vacation Bible School, I know I mentioned it a couple of times. They talked about, on Thursday, about our text, our scripture text today, Jesus walking on water. And so they came home, my kids came home very inspired by, wow, Jesus could walk on water, how incredible. And we have a pool, a community pool, and a day after my parents arrived, we went to the pool on Friday, and Marie goggles on, and she said, you know what, Mom? If you have enough faith, you can walk on water. Don't forget to look up, because if you are not looking up, you look down, you sink. Well, that's basically what happened with Peter. And so she stood on the rim of the pool, goggles on. I have enough faith. Okay, you see, I was close to laugh, but I wanted to take her seriously. And so in her whole body showed that she doubted herself. Yeah, I think I can do that. So, and what happened, she didn't walk. If she would, we would be in the news and I wouldn't be here. But this was what she took with her. She had enough. She tried it a couple of times and it didn't work. So, but this is how this story, we understand this story, or is commonly understand the story. We have Peter trying to walk on water, and he was able to do some steps. The waves caved in, he lost sight, started to doubt, and sank. And Jesus reached out and got him up again. And so we understand oftentimes this story as a story of faith. If you have enough faith, you can do incredible things. Maybe not walk on water, but if you have enough faith, you can do incredible things. So we try to grow as much as possible in faith that we can do incredible things, like Peter. And there are so many people understanding Peter's action differently. One say he was stupid doing this, getting out of the safe boat and walk on water. Some say he was very condescending, thinking that he could be like Jesus, thinking he could do the same thing. Some would say he was very courageous to do so, proving or trying his faith and thinking, oh, I have enough faith to do so. And so whatever motivation there was for Peter, he stepped out of the boat, he walked on water and sank, and we learned something from his faith. And with that, we look back to the boat, the safe place, and we see the disciples who were just there and doing nothing. And so oftentimes, and when you read literature about this passage of the Bible, you have the play it safe in the boat disciples. I call them the boat huggers. And then you have the very courageous, tough, outgoing, walk on water kind of people, like Peter. And so we get the impression, that we learn something about faith. Not to play it safe, to risk our lives. But when I look closer, and we have to come up with those titles very early in the preparation of the sermon, and then I realized, oh my, this text isn't about faith at all. It's not about, I have enough faith, I can do incredible things. Kind of, let's be all walk on waters kind of people. It's not about risking your life stupidly and try to be like Jesus. Let's look closer. We have Peter understood as the one who showed faith. But when you read the text, he asked Jesus, they saw him coming on the lake and they were freaking out. You're in the storm, you're fishermen in the storm, you never experienced something like that before, that somebody walked towards you through the waves. So they are freaking out. Jesus says, hey, it's me. And Peter says, well, if it's you, command me to come to you. If it's you. In faith, there is no if. Peter was full of doubt. If he would really believe that this is Jesus, He wouldn't have said, if and command me. He would have said, Jesus, let me try this too. Because I believe that I can do it. And that what you can do, I'm inspired. No, he played the safe card. If this is really you, I can do this too. Command me. Not even trying myself, but command me. That's safe. That's safe. Because if I fail, it's not my mistake, it's your mistake. Then you're not really Jesus. It's not about faith. It's about doubt. Being full of doubt, actually. So he plays the safe card and says, well, if you're really Jesus, command me. So, but we understand this story, or it's commonly understood this story, that we have two different kind of faith here, like the disciples and Peter. But because of Peter's interaction, we only have this differentiation. So if we're saying that Peter wasn't really faithful in this story, not really a trusting person, then we look differently to the disciples who are still in the boat. Maybe they were the faithful ones saying, if that is Jesus, I'm freaking out, but I stay put. Maybe they were the faithful ones saying, if he can do this, well, let's see what he can do, because he calmed the storm before. He fed 5,000 people before. Maybe he can do something about our situation too. That is more faithful. But because we interpreted it, or we like to interpret Peter as the faithful one, we think, or like to think about the disciples as the unfaithful ones, the doubters. But let's be honest, if we read the gospel, the disciples are always the doubters. They never understood. That was the big frustration of Jesus, never understood. He tried to teach them all the time. And Peter was the biggest doubter and the biggest one who wouldn't understand till the very end. When Jesus went to the cross, he denied him 3 times. That's not faith. That's doubt. Being uncertain about all this. And then we have the saying of Jesus, who reaches out and say, oh, you little faith, why did you doubt? And again, we try, or it's commonly understood that it's like more on the side of, oh, why are you so of little faith? But this is not what Jesus said. You have little faith. No, it's, oh, you little faith. Oh, you of little faith. And yes, that's it. We are of little faith. We are humans. We don't have the perfect faith. If we would have the perfect faith, we wouldn't be here. If we would be perfect, God wouldn't need us here. The kingdom would have started already, and we would be with God. Now we are of little faith. That's a per se thing. That comes with humanity. And there's nothing wrong about it, and God knows that. That's a good news. God knows that. That's why Jesus came to earth, why he sent his son to us, to reconcile the world with God and saying, I love you anyways. That's why we have Christmas and Easter, celebrating the cross, the reconciliation with the world, because we are of little faith, and that's why Jesus came to save us. So, it's not, oh, Peter, why are you of little faith? It's all little faith. Why did you doubt? And maybe this is, why did you doubt wasn't so much, why did you doubt me? Maybe it was, Peter, you walked on water. You did a couple of steps. Why did you doubt yourself? And don't we know this when we do things, we are pushed into situations where we think, oh, I can't do this, and all of a sudden we realize we can do this. And we are so surprised that we are able to handle a certain situation, all of a sudden being alone with 3 kids, or divorced, losing a partner, being sick, challenged by work, life, where at the beginning we think, I can't do this. And later on we see, oh my goodness, we start to back up and say, oh my goodness, I can't do this. And we doubt ourselves. Maybe that was Jesus. Peter, you did great. Why did you doubt yourself? Why didn't you go on? You were so close to me. You just could have walked a little bit more. Maybe that was what Jesus wanted to say. Trust in yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You can do this. So when this story is not about faith, learning something about faith, what is the story then all about? Because in every story there's something behind it. So Marie's story goes on. She tried a couple of times, I can't do that, and walk. And after a time she said, you know what, Mom? Jesus saves me anyway, so it doesn't matter. And that's the story all about. It's not about faith. It's about us learning that Jesus saves us anyways, whether we are in the boat or on the lake. Whether we are maybe on the more safe side or we risk our lives. Whether we try to stay in old ways or we try new ways. Jesus saves us anyways. Why? You think only Peter was in danger. No, not at all. The boat was in danger as well. It was in the storm as well. And that is not a safe, maybe it's a safer place than Peter on the water. But still, the water caved in. Maybe they were afraid that they would sink too. Maybe they had holes, I don't know. But a boat in the storm is also not a safe place to be. Maybe it's safer, but not safe. And Jesus, when he came down from the mountains, where he contemplated and prayed for himself because he just learned that John the Baptist was beheaded, he lost a cousin, a good friend, a companion on his path. He needed some time for himself. And he sent, actually, the disciples on the lake. He sent them away. He came down, he saw his friends in danger, and he started to walk on water towards them. And then Peter interfered. So Jesus didn't go there to save Peter. Actually, Jesus went there to save the boat. And then Peter, little episode happened. So what we learn, Jesus saves us anyways. Whether we're in the boat, he was on his way to the boat, and on water. And that there is no place where we are absolutely safe, where we don't need Jesus. Whether we risk our lives or we stay put. Life, storms, darkness, frightening situations are hitting us anyways, and you know that. When you look back into your life, you maybe risked something, maybe you stepped outside your box and you tried new ways, and that was really frightening. Or whether you stay put, you became sick, beloved ones became sick, or some other life incidents happens. Life happens, storm happens, no matter where we are. And Jesus reaches out to Peter and the boat and saves us, no matter where we are on our journey. Jesus saves us. So when this story is all about Jesus saves us and not about faith, the paradox is it becomes again back. It goes back to faith. It becomes then a story about faith. But not about faith like Peter better than the ones and the disciples. It becomes faith if we let this go. That there are different kinds of faith and that one is better than the other or more than the other. When we let this go and see them as people who experiences life in different ways, whether you go out by yourself thinking you can do this, or you're pushed out of the boat, or you stay in the boat. When we say that is life, and that happens to us, and we experience life-threatening, challenging situations. When we let the other thing go and accept that Jesus saves us, we lay the foundation for our faith. Not in Peter or the disciples, but in trusting and finding comfort and affirmation that Jesus saves us no matter where we are. And with this, our faith journey starts. And maybe, and that is also what Jesus encourages us, maybe we are then able to take heart because it is him. We shouldn't be afraid.